The Mortal Blade, Philosophy and Outlook. I am the lightning rod. I am the living, breathing snare to the abominations and dominators that would threaten the innocent. The corruptors that stalk Nirn cannot help but answer my challenge. And when they do, I shall crush them with the legendary power of the ancestors, the breath of warriors. The Mortal Blade's belief system is rooted in the ideals of justice, responsibility, self-determination, decisive action, and honor in combat. The only way to heal the illness that plagues the world is to cut out the corruption, and this is not done with words, but with steel. The Mortal Blade embraces the gifts of the Dragonborn and believes them to have been bestowed by the great dragon slayers of ancient times. The Mortal Blade not only hunts the denizens of destruction, but believes that he is anointed with powers that attract them as a moth to a flame. This core belief compels the Mortal Blade to live a mostly solitary life as a means of protecting others from the evil that revolves around him, constantly circling and probing for weakness. The Mortal Blade pauses only briefly in settlements and cities, believing his presence will attract the agents of corruption that constantly pursue him. Welcome, dear viewers, to CouchWarrior TV on YouTube. I'm the CouchWarrior, and you are watching The Mortal Blade, a Dragon Slayer's tale. I just read you a section from the Mortal Blade character concept document that can be found on Tamriel Vault. I read a section entitled The Mortal Blade, Philosophy and Outlook. For more information on the Mortal Blade, if you're interested in creating one for yourself, you'll find a detailed guide at mortalblade.charactercrusade.com, or you can search for the Mortal Blade on tamrielvault.com. Okay, so when we last left off, we had done a bunch of crafting. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are not done yet. We have a mission. We've got to go to Hjalmarch. So, let's take a quick look. We need to liberate Hjalmarch. Look at this on the map. Yeah. This will be interesting. So we're going to be heading off into the tundra. And before we head off into the tundra, we have to make sure that we are eminently prepared to do so. And so we are going to craft some additional gear. All right. Make sure that we're ready. And we're also going to craft a few extra things that will allow us to make this little spot here into a somewhat more permanent campsite. So we're going to, if we have the means, we're going to try and create a larger fur tent, and we're going to leave it here in this location. We'll take the small one with us as our travel setup. But there's a nice spot right here that I think Sagramore is going to kind of claim as his home away from home. So when he's back here in Windhelm, he'll kind of consistently stay in this area rather than staying in the city. As we heard from the previous piece, the Mortal Blade is a solitary individual, and Sagramore is a solitary individual for a couple of different reasons. On the one hand, he's been living alone for a long, long time. When his parents died, he took over the farm, and he worked the farm on his own for years, just living in a small cabin, working a farm, toiling every day by himself. And, you know, there were probably weeks that went by where he never spoke a word to anyone because no one was around to talk to except the livestock, right? So that's part of it. This idea of being solitary is sort of inherent in who Sagramore is as a person, as an individual. But where the Mortal Blade is concerned, there's also the additional issue of he is concerned with justice, and he's concerned with protecting people and the safety of others. And as the Mortal Blade evolves, and we're seeing this already in Sagarmore, he is starting to believe that the dragons are either hunting him or attracted to him in some way. And he starts to believe that the more time that he spends around people or in cities, the more he potentially endangers them by bringing these curses that he bears along with him. And the last thing he wants to do is bring an angry dragon down on a bunch of innocent people. So that is also something that we're just acutely aware of. So what we're going to do here is we're going to cut some wood, we're going to create some camping gear, we're going to buy some supplies, stuff like that. We're going to make sure that we're set up for cold weather travel. Now we have all of our skull gear, which is great for cold weather stuff, but it's not as good at protecting us as the armor that we currently have on, because we've upgraded that armor multiple times. So I think we're going to create a fur crafting kit, and we're going to see if we can gather the resources we need to make ourselves a nice cold weather fur cloak that we can wear over the top of the armor. That'll give us some additional warmth without sacrificing the protection that we have in this armor we've upgraded. First, we got to stock up on some wood. So the camping supplies and fur crafting kit, all the things that we need to build are going to require wood as an ingredient. So we're going to stock up a little bit here. Now we've also got some things that we can sell still. But they're things that probably the best customer for us is going to be the court mage, court wizard. So we're going to have to go back there and check that out. Okay, so what we're going to create here is we're going to do a fur crafting kit.
I'll be sure to stress your urgency.
So we need to get our hands on some leather. Okay. And if I remember correctly, I think we also need some iron. So we're going to pick up some iron.
Everyone says Yorland Grey, looking to protect yourself or deal some damage.
Okay, and I'm not sure what kind of cloak we're going to be able to make. It just depends on what furs we find available around here. Okay, so we got a decent amount of money that we can invest. I'm going to get a couple of iron ingots. And we'll buy 4 leather. And I think we're pretty much loaded when it comes to leather strips. So okay, so we're going to create this for a crafting kit. Okay, now this will give us access to some other things that we can create, and it may actually be okay, now we have the ability to create these various hoods and stuff like that. I'm not interested in hoods, really. I'm more interested in cloaks. Here we go. So let's see. We can make stuff, of course, wolf skin, bear skin, saber cat. So pretty much anything we can find we should be able to use. Excuse me, I need to use this.
Buying and selling a wide range of assorted goods.
So down here in the miscellaneous category, I'm going to turn the game sound down just a little bit. All right, we're going to make a camp chair. That'll come in handy. Okay. We've got a cooking pot already. And if we're going to make a larger tent, I was also thinking that we could also make a camping cot. course, I need some more supplies if we're going to do that. I need one more leather, and I need to come up with a couple of goat hides. So we may not be able to make that now. My plan is to make a larger fur tent, which would be big enough to put a cot in.
Everything's fresh and delicious.
So let's have a look at that. That's going to be down under miscellaneous. Large fur tent. Comes with a bedroll, but it requires 12 fur plates. So we are going to start saving some hides along our travels. Once we've accumulated enough, we'll make our fur plate and create a more permanent structure across the river there. Okay. Let's visit our vendors and then see if we can sell off a few things, make some more money.
I own Hollyfrost Farm outside the city. It's
I don't
honest work.
haggle. If you want a lower price, look elsewhere. Trinkets, odds and ends, that sort of thing.
Okay. I'm mainly interested in what she's got. Okay, well, she's got fur plate. Get those. No goat hide. She has a saber cat snow pelt. That would be good. We'll take that. And she's got a wolf pelt. We're going to take that as well. We're just going to take the pelts. We'll take the pelts and we're going to see what we come up with. So we're going to make whatever cloak we can based on what we come up with.
Assorted wares
Here.
and tools you just can't live without. Come and see for yourself.
Saber cat snow pelt. That's kind of nice. All right. What was that? Was it under hide? Okay. So,
Buying and selling a wide range of assorted goods. The best
Interesting.
selection in Windhelm.
I got these fancy versions. I feel like we're not probably going to be able to make anything fancy because they have kind of specialized items, but you never know. Noble wolfskin cloak, ice, timber, black. I'm not sure which we got. But a lot of times, anything that's got the special trim on it and all that stuff, you need
Everything's fresh and delicious.
fox. Okay, so we're going to go and check out Sadri's. He may have some stuff that we can use.
You know about Talos? He
I do.
founded the Empire.
Yeah. How ironic. Wonder if he knew what it would become. How could he? All right, so we'll visit Sadri. We'll see if he's got anything we need there. And then hopefully our court wizard has enough money that he can buy some of these things I want to sell. Hopefully he will buy them. We have various staves that we acquired when we were fighting the Falmer. So he's the only one I can think of who might be interested in buying those at the moment.
Let me know if you see anything you like.
I don't know. Unless Sadri is interested. I don't know.
All my goods are... Oh,
What have you
a
got?
bit of this and a bit of that.
Okay. Let's look and see. No, he's not interested in buying that stuff. Or is he? I was looking at his stuff. Oh yeah, he'll buy them. Okay, so we can make back some money. We've got 4 of those we can sell, so we can make back some money from whatever we buy here. And he seems to have a bit of money, so that's good for us. All right, let's see what we got here. Anything we can use? Well, he's got a bear pelt, so we'll take that. hopefully we will actually acquire enough stuff that we can actually make what we need, but no guarantees, right? No guarantees. Necklace of minor wielding. Oh, that'd be nice. That's pretty spendy, though. More than we can afford at the moment. Okay. Well, he has surprisingly little, actually. That is a bit disappointing. We don't really need any weapons. How about potions? Minor healing. You can always use that. Stamina. Plentiful stamina. Gotta resist fire too, but that's too expensive. Okay. Well, this may be helpful. We can just sell to him, and then we don't have to go back to the palace, right? And I think that we've liquidated pretty much everything else. Okay. Well, I'm going to sell this necklace too. Do that for the money. Got our smithing stuff, got our shield. This is all stuff that we're going to use. Yep, we pared down our ingredients. We've got pretty good food supply. What would be good is if he's got any salt. Void salts. That doesn't really help. Not much else. Okay. And he does not have any goat hide. Goat hide would have been great. But no such luck. All right.
Do come again.
Good enough. Okay. All right, let's deal with this extreme hunger and thirst business. Some stew. Water. So, we've got a little bit of fur plate. And we've got
I'm a sailor.
saber cat pelt and a bear pelt. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing that that alone is probably not going to be enough for us to make the cloak that we want. So we can kind of, I guess, tuck it away, and we may be able to finish the crafting on the way. That would be a possibility, I guess. But we'll go back and double check just to make sure. So we're encumbered right now, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with all that, probably all that firewood that we chopped, would be my guess. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's going to take at least 4 wolf pelts to make one of these if we go that route. Okay. Don't need anything with fancy trim, just... Problem is that this mod adds so many options. I mean, it's like... Okay, simple bear skin cloak. That's going to be at least 3. The other option here, I guess, would be travel cloak. Fur travel cloak. We would just need to make some hide lace, but this is from a different set altogether. So I think we might be SOL on that. Hope everyone is doing well. I am fine. Nice to be out adventuring again. So let's do a quick review. Where are we at in terms of encumbrance? Okay, we've got a number of things that we are going to offload here. That we will be offloading before we travel, so they won't be an issue. Of course, the steel ingots are weighing us down. We've got a whole bunch of torches. We've got a bunch of torches we don't need. But this is all stuff that we acquired when we took all of that loot off those Imperial soldiers. So, all right, let's head back to our camp. And we're gonna get sorted here. We don't have like a permanent sort of living arrangement, so we don't really have safe storage to drop things. Now we could do something similar to what I did with Etienne in the passage, and we could console in a knapsack to put in our camping space where we could just put stuff. But that's only something I would do if I had the resources to actually create the larger tent. And since we're just leaving anyway, that's not something I'm going to do. So we might just have to dump off some stuff. I don't know. I mean, we've got torches and we've got an excess of firewood. I mean, by the time I get rid of some of that stuff, we'll probably be in good shape.
The best way for us to win the Nord's respect is through hard work.
Okay. So we've got kind of a long way to go here, and we're going to be hoofing it. So we'll lighten the load, get some rest, get some food, and then head off early in the morning. Well, that was definitely... I wasn't able to make a lot of the stuff that I was hoping to. But even so, it was worthwhile. There was a lot of stuff I can check off the list now. So I've got the fur crafting kit. I've got a camp chair. Some of those basic things. A few supplies that will come in handy if and when we get the rest of what we need to make our cloak. Okay. All right, and in anticipation of our trip, let's go ahead and cook what we can. Oh yeah, I already cooked this stuff. I think most of what I have is already cooked. So, I'm not going to juice apples. That doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, prior to starting the recording, I was able to roast some goat leg and some pheasant and all that kind of stuff. All right, so let's do 12 hours. That'll have us hitting the road at about, well, before 8 a.m. All right, excellent. We are rested. I got one roasted, not the other. Okay. So, let's break all this down. We'll get it packed up, and then we'll see what we need to jettison. Because we'll have to get rid of some stuff, without a doubt. Okay. Let's pack this up. But that is okay. We're actually not encumbered at this point. That's because I created a roaring fire, which used a lot of firewood. So it's pretty wicked out here. Let's go with some heavier gear. Yeah, that looks nice and warm. Okay. Now I gotta confirm our loadout here. Let's get that hotkeyed. Still haven't had occasion to use it yet. All right. I believe we are good to go. So, our destination is going to take us into Hjalmarch and kind of a remote area, somewhere between Morthal and Dawnguard. Not Dawnguard, but Dawnstar. So we've got a ways to go here. All right, creatures. I have no quarrel with you. Tell you what, I'll take the hide. And you have the meat, right? I just did you a favor. All right, we got a goat hide now. That'll help us. We need 2 goat hides to make our cot. It's camping cot. So that'll be good. Goat right there. Oh shit. Go. Go. Okay. Woohoo! Healing. Stamina. Let's resist some cold while we're at it. Ooh, I'm going to use the plentiful stamina. Oh. All right, let's make sure we have Unrelenting Force equipped. It may be enough to interrupt a breath attack. Let's make him work for it. Let's not make it easy. If you want to fight us, you got to come down. Come. Come, beast. Where are you? Come. Let us play. Come. Ah, yes. Oh. Give me your power, creature. Yeah. That is redemption. That is redemption. So we're going to take a dragon scale. I'm going to take this. I'll take that shield as well. All right. Now let's have a look at our shouts. We're going to unlock slow time. As I said, with the Mortal Blade, I completely embrace the idea that he just inherently knows what to do, right? When he acquires the power of that dragon soul, something clicks inside him. And he knows how to use these things. So that's one of the things I enjoy about this character. I don't have to spend quite so much time thinking about role play around this idea of him questioning or discovering his Thu'um, right? It's just something that happens instinctively. It's something that he does. So we will be able to add slow time to our arsenal very quickly here. It was good that it was a frost dragon, that's for sure. We're better equipped as a Nord to fight a frost dragon than we are to deal with fire right now. So that's a good thing. All right. Coffee break. So I think we're just going to follow this road. We've been through this area not too long ago. So I'm thinking that I'm not sure, but hopefully we won't face too much adversity. Specifically, around Fort Dunstad. Creature, excuse me. Last time we went through there was a battle going on we participated in. So I'm hoping that that's actually garrisoned with Stormcloak soldiers at this point. That'd be helpful. Ah, good day.
We'll show those faithless dogs who this land belongs to.
Yeah, give them hell, soldier. So, I've kind of decided that my approach, I think officially, my approach to alchemy with this character is that he will do alchemy. He will create his own potions, but it's going to be based strictly on what recipes he acquires. So we'll go to alchemy shops and we'll look for any recipes there that we can buy that will be helpful. And once we've acquired a recipe, then we'll use that recipe to create things. So, to me, that seems like a good compromise with this character, because he's not focused on alchemy. He has the capability of performing these things, making these things. He's smart enough to do it. He knows what he's doing. But he doesn't strike me as the kind of character who would experiment with eating ingredients and stuff like that. So we will look for recipes and we will make what we can use from those recipes and kind of leave it at that, I think. That'll give us the ability to make some helpful things going forward. Healing potions and hopefully, stamina and some resistances and things like that. But without feeling like we're getting too deep into the whole alchemical play style. So that seems like a pretty good compromise to me. Working from a recipe should be something that anyone can do, and he should be able to do that even without being focused on the skill. So but that's the approach for now. But again, anything goes. If we encounter something along the way that changes our focus a little bit, or sort of implies that we meet somebody who provides us with some training or some insight or piques our interest, or whatever it is, we're always prepared to respond to that. As we've seen in the last 3 episodes, things happen that change characters. So and I think the idea in this role play, in all of my role plays, is being open to the game and allowing it to present us with whatever it will, and then we react. And we create our story dynamically based on what the game is giving us. So, travel time is always a good time to reflect on the events of the past and kind of get our thoughts organized around where our character is at right now in this place and time, so that we can make decisions in the moment that make sense. And so, here's what we know so far. We have gotten ourselves involved in the Civil War by our own choice. We basically enlisted. And as Galmar would say, he's got a fire in his belly, right? He's really against what the Legion is doing here, what the Imperials are doing here. He doesn't like what the Empire is doing in Skyrim, so he's resisting. So he has joined the Stormcloak movement in order to resist that. Now, since that time, he has shown prowess in battle. He's shown capability as a leader. And so he's found himself being given responsibilities and being promoted.
Or die well.
Which is a good thing. Now, in terms of adversity, we've seen some interesting things happen. He has been attacked by 2 assassins now, so it is clear that somebody's got it in for us. And we don't know who. We also know that he was set up, that he was placed under arrest and he was thrown in jail. He was never told what the charges were. And Sagramore, being who he is, strong-willed, very, very strong-willed, stubborn, he broke out. So he broke out and got some unexpected help from Aella and Kodlak, which revealed a couple of things. It revealed that there are people within the companions. Ooh, we better check this out. There's a fire. There are people within the companions who know us now by reputation. They know who Sagramore is based on his reputation, and why shouldn't they? He came, he was the one who dropped the drawbridge and came charging in and directly challenged the Jarl and all this stuff. I mean, people know who he is now. So, before we go in here, let me finish this thought, because this is important. All right? So, we've determined a couple of things. Aella and Kodlak, based on his reputation, respected him enough to help him get out of jail, but did not put themselves at risk at the same time. They didn't attack anyone. They didn't take any lives. They basically escorted him out of the dungeon after he was able to get out of his cell. And then Kodlak turned a blind eye so that he could escape when he was apparently locked inside Jorrvaskr. It also reveals the fact that there is a divide inside Jorrvaskr on whether or not Sagramore is a person worth respecting or supporting. So we saw Skior objecting, and we also have implied that Vilkas objected as well. We heard Vilkas object to bringing him in and saying to Kodlak, why should we bring this guy in? Right? And then we also had that experience of seeing Vilkas go outside, presumably to see us, only to find the door locked, so presumably he locked us in. That's how we're interpreting that. So that is important. The other thing of significance was our second encounter with the dragon, where we were able to study the dragon and learn some things about it by watching it, but also coming very quickly to this conclusion that we were not going to be able to defeat that dragon. And so we found ourselves in Sagramore found himself in this bad position of having to hide from the dragon, and then eventually having the Dawn Guard come to his rescue. So we've had some exposure to the Dawn Guard as well, and we have some reason to believe that we owe a debt to them, and we owe a debt to Aella in a way, and Kodlak as well, although not as significant a debt. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So we also have had this experience in the last couple episodes of Sagramore beginning to question the ideology of Ulfric Stormcloak. He's starting to hear things about Ulfric from other people that are beginning to make him think that Ulfric may not be the man that he thought he was. So that does a couple of things. First, it has Sagramore questioning what he's doing, not necessarily questioning should he be a Stormcloak, but questioning what kind of Stormcloak do I want to be. And then also it casts a shadow over his idea about who Ulfric was. So there's this kind of questioning now that, well, maybe Ulfric isn't someone that I should respect. Maybe he doesn't share my ideals, So there's a lot of swirling emotion that would go around that. Sagramore may be questioning, cure disease and minor healing. We're going to take those because they can't use those, right? He may be questioning a little bit his own beliefs, just questioning himself in terms of, am I too idealistic? A storm cloak chopping wood out here? Wow. And I think that is a type of questioning for Sagramore that is healthy. I think it's healthy for a person to look inward and constantly be questioning your beliefs. It's not good to be constantly conflicted, but I think it's good for a person to exercise a certain amount of self-criticism, you know? And I think that's what he's doing. I think he's trying desperately to be honest with himself about things and say to himself, okay, you know, who's right here? You know, I believe Skyrim is for everyone. I believe everyone should be protected. Is that the right way to think? And he's thinking through it, and he's coming to the conclusion that, yes, this is the right way to think, and Ulfric is not correct. You know? And so it's very easy, I think, a lot of times for us, you know, in our society, and this one as well, to look at people who claim to have some degree of authority and automatically assume that your belief system is wrong because this person, by the very nature of who they are, would somehow know better than you. And I don't believe that is a valid or healthy way to look at the world. I think, you know, a person should always be open to the idea that we may have it wrong, we may not know everything, but at the same time not discount our own feelings, thoughts, opinions, and beliefs just because someone else who claims to be smart or wise says so. And so I think that is who I believe that is who I believe the Mortal Blade is. Who Sagramor is. Okay? Not the Mortal Blade, but who Sagramor is as a person. I think he has the capacity to honestly critique himself. And that's part of what makes him interesting, but it's also it's the reason why we're able to make adjustments periodically. Because he's able to admit that he has misinterpreted a situation or made a bad decision, and he's able to, you know, make an adjustment in his trajectory so that it makes more sense. Okay, we've got just a lot of dead weight here. This is all stuff that we've acquired in the past and couldn't get rid of because it was considered to be stolen or something like that. We're just going to jettison anything like that from our inventory, so we're not carrying around dead weight. If we can't sell it anyway, it doesn't make any sense to keep it. So that's what we'll do. All right, continuing along. So let's have a look. Oh yeah, we're almost there, and we've got a lot of daylight left, so we're in pretty good shape, I think. Now, what we just witnessed, of course, and I talked over the whole thing, so let's review that now. What we just witnessed, of course, was a bunch of vigilants of Stendar, their temple burned, them killed, and obviously it was a battle between them and some vampires. This is our second encounter with vampires. Our first encounter was in Whiterun, where we got the jump on a master vampire who was attacking the stables. We didn't have a lot of time to sit there and dwell on the significance of that event because Sagramor was a wanted man. So we stole that horse and took off pretty quickly. But this is another touch point with the Dawn Guard. Which doesn't have a ton of significance now, but it starts opening the door a little bit, right, to this whole other side of Skyrim. So and that's the point, right, where we're going along our merry way, doing our Civil War quest. But in addition to that, while that's going on, we're being exposed to some other things. We're starting to gradually understand the impact the vampires are having on people's lives here. And with each encounter, we become more and more exposed to that quest line, and we start to form some ideas and beliefs and experiences and so forth that will eventually lead to some decision-making points down the line. So I try to look at each one of these small encounters and try to appreciate what it means in the moment. Okay, we're close. Oh, look at this. A barrow. Huh. Well, we shall leave it alone. There they are. Ah. Good camp. All right. Snowhammer has arrived. Let's get this underway. So in the next episode, we are going to figure out how we go about liberating Hellmarch. Now,